didn't. And then you find yourself leading heavy, but then hitting his legs. Here we are just again. Big knee, firing up the weapons. He's done it! It's the biggest win of his career for Arnold Allen.
Hello, I'm Gooden and this is EuroWatch. This weekend, the card is headlined by the number 5 ranked Kattar and England's Arnold Allen. So today I'm going to spotlight the man from Felixstowe in Suffolk. 28 years old with an 18-1 pro MMA record and a red-hot 11-fight win streak that includes all of his fights in the UFC. This is the prime time for Arnold Allen as he enters his first main event for the UFC promotion. His last fight was with the very skilled and popular Dan Hooker, where Allen showed he was ready for big things by unloading a 40-shot combination before applying so much pressure the referee stopped the fight. Now, it had been a frustrating time for Allen and his fans over his UFC tenure, as apart from 2019, he only managed to fight once a year. That is changing now, as some of his injury woes are thankfully behind him. Put that aside for a moment, and Allen has had a well-managed career showing he can solve a lot of different problems, from tricky prospects to veterans, fellow contenders and big-name fighters. Before we dive into the technical aspects of his game, let's explore his background. Arnold grew up on the east coast of England in the shipping town of Felixstowe. His dad was and still is well known for his competitive strongman exploits, and he also fought pro MMA in the early days. Not wanting to do what his dad did, as that wouldn't be cool, Allen went into boxing and did very well on the regional amateur scene. However, he did eventually transition to MMA and luckily found a group of fighters that would go on to do big things for the local scene. John Maguire and Luke Barnett both fought in the UFC, and Allen's current coach and manager Jack Mason had about 50 fights and is one of the most respected men in mixed martial arts. Another interesting note is that Corey McKenna actually grew up around Arnold Allen and also trained under and is managed by Jack Mason as well. None of the gyms that Allen is associated with is close by to his home. He has always had to travel long distances to train, so he went one further and joined TriStar in Montreal, Canada under the great Faraz Zahabi. When I used to watch Allen in his pre-UFC days, he was a super aggressive fighter with obvious boxing and ridiculous strength and conditioning for a young man. It seems like that has been finessed by Zahabi over the years, helping him climb to 6th in the rankings. More about Allen's skills then. He works brilliantly out of his southpaw boxing. He uses educated combinations which help him both do damage and score points, but he can crack too, something that we're seeing more of in his recent fights. It doesn't stop there though. Good Muay Thai, solid wrestling and very creative submissions leave Allen with a dangerous game that will keep you guessing. He also seems to have the conditioning to apply all of this well over 15 minutes. But this weekend, he's stepping into the 5-round territory, something he told me he is particularly excited for. Just to give you an idea of his cardio, during the lockdown, he went out for a run and just decided to extend a short run into a full marathon. He didn't prepare for it, and he had no aid stations or assistance, but he still got it done. That is the kind of energy and tenacity you need when facing the all-action New England cartel man, Calvin Kattar. I'm a big fan of this man's work. He too has a wide array of skills, particularly great boxing, which we have seen him use in all of his fights. The X factor is the elbow game he possesses. Remember when he absolutely crushed Jeremy Stephens with the right and opened him up with the left? Yeah, that was massive. You know when you step in there with Kattar, you're in for a long, hard night and you'll likely need to be sewn up after. The Boston man showed that he can mix things up too, using takedowns and ground and pound, and he as well has a great team behind him, including Tyson Chartier, who has a superb tactical mind. Kattar has been in there with the very best at 145 pounds. This is most definitely a defining fight for Arnold Allen and could really launch his career towards the conversation for UFC Gold. Thank you for checking this out. I actually have a documentary from a few years back that I did with Arnold Allen, which is up on UFC Fight Pass now. Go check that out if you want to see him at home talking about his career. Enjoy the fights this weekend, and I'll see you next time.